Sources tell CNN that the White House has been considering fast-tracking an experimental coronavirus vaccine before final trials are completed and possibly ahead of that November election. Now, that is something America's top pandemic health official is strongly warning against. But the allure of an election boost does seem to be playing high on Mr. Trump's mind.
On the vaccine? Yeah. I am. I'm optimistic that it'll be probably around that date. I believe we'll have the vaccine before the end of the year, certainly, but around that date, yes, I think so. It wouldn't hurt.
Well, Mr. Trump talking there about a vaccine being developed by Oxford University and AstraZeneca. There could be a hitch with his hoped-for timing. The Oxford study has enrolled 10,000 test volunteers, but US scientific agencies say any vaccine research must involve 30,000 people before it can be approved in America. Well, of course, that is not the only game in town on vaccines. It's a modern-day space race of sorts. So China also going all in to develop its own Beijing Biotech Sinovac, competing with 12 other Chinese companies. But it says its vaccine, called CoronaVac, is in late-stage trials, and it plans to move quickly to get it launched. Well, our David Culver went inside Sinovac's vaccine lab to see what that is all about. He joins me now from Beijing. David.
Becky, moving so quickly that the infrastructure in which they're producing these vaccines isn't even finished being built yet. That's how things are moving pace-wise, and it can be a bit uneasy to see that, the juxtaposition between what is an unfinished laboratory on the outside and inside what is a high-tech lab. So it's a strange sight, but at the same time, it speaks to how quickly they've had to move in creating this vaccine, one that they believe will be successful. It's in phase 3 right now, and it's currently being tested in Brazil as well as in Indonesia. It involves 11,000 people combined in both of those countries. Now, what's interesting here in China is what we have seen from the central government, and that is that they've claimed over the past 2 months, they've already been rolling out the use of vaccines, first with the military in June, and then in July, they say with frontline workers, border and customs agents, medical personnel, folks who are in those so-called high-risk professions. With Sinovac, though, the focus will likely be on the general population, not only of China, but for the rest of the world.
You feel hopeful just looking at the packaging and small vials. Might this vaccine bring us back to our lives before coronavirus? The Chinese company behind it believes it might.
Sinovac's goal is to provide a vaccine with good quality, good safety, good immunogenicity to the people in the world.
Sinovac is among 13 companies in China working on a COVID-19 vaccine. It is one of just 9 that are well into clinical trials. The biotech company began developing its vaccine in late January. Construction on this, their newest facility in Beijing, started about 2 months later.
One of the things we noticed walking in here is that this space is brand new. It's not even been used. They started building it in March, and they did that for 2 reasons. One, for regulatory reasons here in China. They need a separate space to produce this vaccine. And the other is because of the demand. They need the production space to meet it.
While its borders remain largely sealed off, life within China's returned to near normal in most places. So much so that Wuhan has hosted crowded pool parties. And in Beijing, no longer are you required to wear a face mask when outside, assuming you're a safe distance from others. China credits mass testing and strict contact tracing. But health experts warn those stringent measures impact immunity levels.
In these places, then definitely the way forward is vaccination.
In the past 2 months, the Chinese government has granted 2 vaccine companies special emergency approval to launch their vaccines. Typically, a vaccine takes years to go through trials and reach production.
Do you feel confident enough to take the vaccine?
Yeah, I do, because the vaccine roadmap we are using is demonstrated and proved technology.
They estimate they will be able to produce about 300 million vaccines a year. And that's why they believe the more vaccines in the marketplace, the better.
Yeah, I think the competition is more like we compete with the virus, right? Our speed should be faster than the transmitting of the virus instead of competing with others. We like everyone could be successful.
China has faced sharp criticism from many countries, most notably the U.S., for its initial handling of the outbreak. But some nations might be willing to look past all of that if China can deliver the solution with a dose of hope.
And Becky, as you pointed out, this has gotten political on a global scale, but it's also, as you heard there from the investor relations representative from that company, has to do with a lot of money. Big finances are behind this, and that's also at stake.